guys remember him as the 16-and-a-half-year-old boy wonder.
Yeah.
Since then, he has gone on, him and his wife, do the largest giant breed dog rescue in the world. In over 5 years, or 25 years, they saved 15,500 dogs.
Wow.
Make some noise. All right. We've gone from the Cane Crusader to the Canine Crusader. Holy applause, it's Burt.
That's you again. That's right. He's caught me 20 times. There, very sharp young lady. So anyway, it's nice to be here, and I thought what we do is give you guys a chance to ask some questions, which I'll be happy to answer, and have some fun. So what you do is, since we're in a small venue here, is if you have a question you'd like to ask about the series, about our show, anything, you can just raise your hand, and I'll answer each question. All right, here's a gentleman over here.
How'd you land the role of Rob?
How did I get the role of Rob? Well, I was a young actor going to UCLA, studying acting, working with a professional coach, and I was selling real estate on the weekends, and I sold a house along with my father to a producer who was kind enough to watch a scene that I did, and then said, you know, I'll tell you what, I'm going to send you to an agent, and the agent can perhaps try to get you some work. So he sent me to this Hollywood agent. The first thing the Hollywood agent said was, I can't get work for the actors I've already got, and I would never take you, but because of this producer, I'm going to do it, so don't expect to work for a year, and if you do get a chance, you'll have one line or something. Very encouraging, right? So it was a couple of weeks later, and then I got a call from someone in that agent's office who said, there's something going on at 20th Century Fox. We don't even know what it is. Just go over there at 4:30 in the afternoon tomorrow, and you'll see a casting director, and you know, you can try out for the part if they want to see you. So I went over there the next day at 20th Century Fox. I didn't have any knowledge what the role was or anything, and I just was given a specific bungalow to go to and to meet a certain casting director, which I did. And the casting director was very nice. He said, would you like to meet the executive producer? I figured, sure. I figured everybody got to meet the executive producer. That's actually not true, but I didn't know that at the time. So I went in to see the executive producer. His name was William Dozier. And I said, hello, Mr. Dozier. And I shook his hand really firm, and I think I caught him off guard. I wasn't expecting some kind of energy. And he said, looked at me and said, well, you're kind of big for this part. I said, oh, sir, I promise you, I won't grow anymore. And he laughed. I mean, how could you stop growing? And we talked for a little bit, and then he said, would you like to have a screen test? I said, sure. I figured, you know, everybody got to have a screen test. That's not true either. So a couple of weeks later, I had a screen test at 20th Century Fox, which you can view online if you'd like. It shows me they wanted to see some physical stuff. I was one of the very first people to learn karate in the United States. We came in 1959. And so I did some stuff, broke a board with my hand. And then they had me, they said, okay, now we need you to do some dialogue with one of the other actors who's trying out for the part. So I was introduced to Adam West, and before we did our screen test together, we were each handed a couple of pages of text, and all it said on it was Bruce and Dick. It didn't say anything about Batman, it didn't say anything like that, just simply Bruce and Dick. So I had no idea what the project was, but after talking to Adam West for about 5 minutes, the two of us were laughing, and I think for the last 52 years we've never stopped laughing. We just got along really, really great. A wonderful, incredible man. So we did the screen test, and I said, thank you very much. And they said, wait, you're not ready to go yet. We have one more thing for you to do. I said, what was that? They said, well, why don't you go over this trailer over here, And we've got 2 wardrobe in there, and they have some clothes they want to help you put on, and so that we can do the second part of the screen test. And I stopped for a second. I guess I was surprised. I said, well, you know, I'm perfectly capable of dressing myself. They said, oh no, you don't understand. You don't understand. So you just go over there, and I went over there, and sure enough, there was these 2 wardrobe guys, and I went into this trailer, this giant long couch, and on the couch was just so much stuff. You know, I figured it must be for 3 or 4 different people or something. And so I asked them, I said, am I going to put some of this on? They said, no, you're going to put all of it on. I said, what? So I put this costume on. It was the most uncomfortable thing in my entire life I've ever put on. I've never been in such agony. And I could hardly walk. And I turned around to these guys as I was stepping out the door, and I said, well, I'm going to do this screen test for about 5 or 10 minutes, then I'm coming back and I'll never have to wear this costume again. Famous last words. So I did the screen test, and I looked at this costume. I still didn't know anything to do with superheroes. I had no idea. You see, where I grew up, they had Superman comic books, but they didn't have Batman and Robin. So, and then when I saw Adam West in this costume, I mean, I couldn't figure out what is this? And I'll never forget the first time he turned around and I saw his eyes. See, his eyes in the cowl were crossed. And it just made me laugh instantly. They said, wait, we got to do the scene, no laughing, please. We got to be very serious, you know. And so anyway, long story short, I did the screen test, still didn't know what it was, left, and for the next 6 weeks, I started getting phone calls from the studio. What's your shoe size? Oh, well, okay. And what's your hat size? Well, I don't wear a hat. Well, go get your head measured for all of this stuff. Why are they calling me asking for this? And then 6 weeks later, I got a call from these agents, and they said, well, we'd like you to come in and sign contracts. I said, oh, well, great. So I figured, gee, they really were going to take me on and represent me, so I went in to sign the contracts, but when I sat down and looked at it, it said 20th Century Fox on the contract. It didn't say the name of the agency. And I asked them, well, what's this? They said, it's your contract with the studio. You don't know that you have the part? I said, no. They said, you mean the studio didn't tell you? No. And it turns out the studio said, you mean the agents didn't tell you that? Well, I had this part for about 4 of the 6 weeks, and I didn't even realize it. So that, you know, in a lot of words, is how I got the role. Yes, ma'am.
What was your chemistry like with Adam West?
Amazing. Adam and I had a certain chemistry that, and I wish, believe me, I wish he were here now, that you put the 2 of us together and we didn't have to say a word. You would immediately start laughing. And I don't know if it was because his nature was that of this very grand, bigger than life, you know. I mean, people ask me, well, I see him in the show, but what was he like off the show? And I'll tell you, he was exactly the same. He thought of himself like Winston Churchill. I mean, he thought of himself in these gigantic, grand terms. And in fact, one time he said if he really understood what it was like to play Batman when he watched Charlton Heston play Moses and part the Red Sea. Dead serious. So, and I was always a kid, never grew up, still haven't. Not old a kid, but nevertheless, it's the same. And we just have had an amazing relationship. And I really tell you, I believe one of the reasons our show was so successful is that the 2 of us had a great time. We played everything straight, so the kids saw it as the hero worship. The adults saw the nostalgia of the comic books. But the teenagers and the college kids that at that time in history did not watch television, now, for the first time, maybe, we're watching our show because of the campy style, the double meanings, the insinuations, the suggestive things that we said and did. And as a result of that, we had a gigantic audience. It was the #1 show in the world. The night that it came out, which was Tuesday, January 12, 1966, Batman had a 55 share. What that meant was, in the entire of North America, Of all the televisions on in North America, 55% were watching Batman. And the other 45% were sharing other stations, local and network. And so it was really gigantic. To give you an idea, it was bigger than the Super Bowl at the time. That's the kind of big. And it became a smash hit. You know, there were people that were doing the Batusi and women that were having their hairstyle in a Batman hairstyle, and kids were putting capes on or bath towels around their neck and jumping off their couch, and just everything you can imagine. It was really spectacular. Yes, sir.
What was it like to